Yo, yo, yo. We are here and we're excited for another episode of The Mental Perspective. Man, we got a great show for you today. I'm here with my co host, my dude, DP, Derek Patterson. What up, fella?
What it do, people?
All right. So, listen, we're so glad that you've decided to join us. We want you to like, share, subscribe, let everybody know what we got going down. We are here and we're decided to dive deep into what men think. We want to let y'all know what we think.
Or do we?
Or do we? So that's a great question. So listen, we're gonna jump right in. So listen, man. People talk about relationships. They talk about married couples, singles. Today we're gonna talk about couples, but we're gonna talk about sex.
Mm.
That's a good one. I know it, man. Like people love to talk about sex, but we're gonna talk about sex, man. And one of the big questions that come up is, especially when it comes to married couples, I think one of the bigger questions that come up is how many times a week should couples have sex? You know what I'm saying? Especially when you get married, it's like I know that when you're dating,
Mm-hmm.
sex seems to be in an abundance.
Oh, it's a buffet.
I mean, it's like it just seems like you're always having sex. And I believe when you get married, there's this myth, or especially on TV, I believe TV likes to depict marriage as one of those things that diminish your sex life. So we're gonna talk about it today.
Mm.
All right, we're gonna talk about it today. So I did some research, and one of the places I looked was The Knot.
Mm-hmm.
And The Knot is a magazine or an online resource for couples,
Mhm.
especially couples that are engaged. They really help with wedding venues, and vendors and things of that sort. One of the things that The Knot did was they did a study on intimacy.
Ah.
Yeah. And one of the things that they talked about was how many times per week are couples having sex. Now the levels of sex varied. So they talked it was gender, stage, the relationship, and relationship status.
Mm-hmm.
So based on the study, there were serious dating couples. They talked to the kicking up the spice couples, and they talked to married couples. Now, based on this intimacy study, the serious couples said that they were having sex one time a week.
That's it?
That's what they said.
Out of 7 days?
Out of 7 days.
Lord have mercy.
Help us, Lord.
Mm.
Then the serious couples.
How old were they?
Now that's the $1 million question. How old were they? The kicking up the spice couples. They were talking about 2 to 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then the married couples, shockingly enough, were 3 to 4 times a week.
Really? Good night.
Yeah. And so now, granted, those numbers shifted based on the length of time they were married.
Okay.
So maybe in the beginning, it was like rabbits, it was on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was on like rabbits. You know how we do. And as you get older and as time goes on, life happens and everything else happens, and that might have diminished.
But it doesn't give an indication of the age.
It doesn't give the age.
They just group by
Yeah,
married.
they just kind of grouped them by the serious couples, then the kicking up the spice couples, and then the married couples.
It's interesting.
It's very interesting.
It's
And
interesting.
they did this study in 2024. Now they did, it was based on, like I said, it was gender, stage, relationship, and relationship status.
Okay.
So that's the question, man. So the $1 million question, DP.
Hot seat.
How many times week do you think is the correct number for married couples?
I can't speak for married couples, but I sure can speak for me.
All right, for you, what do you think? How many times a week should you have a married couple should have sex per week?
My preferred number is at least 3.
At least 3.
Minimum.
Wow.
Provided, you know what I'm saying, everybody healthy and
Yeah.
that's minimum, you know.
At least 3.
But shoot, you eat every day, don't
You eat every day. You gotta eat every
you?
day.
You eat every day, don't
Come
you?
on.
You want to? She wants to hear me say I love you every day.
Oh, they love it.
Yeah.
Boy,
So
I want to hear it.
I think it's a fair exchange, but
Yeah.
you know, realistically,
I think three is a great number.
yeah, I think that's fair.
3 is a great number, man.
If we can go more than 3,
Huh?
if we can go more than
If
3,
you can go more than 3, man,
Yeah.
listen, y'all on the track. And you know what? Here's what I realize is that sometimes, based on how things are going in life,
true.
sometimes it can be even more than that in a week. It may not always be consistently 4 or 5 times a week, but you know, come on, like I know you've experienced this, and I have. It's like, man, it's just what you look back and you're like, wow, man, we had about 4 or 5 times this week.
Yeah.
You know, over the last 2 weeks, it was 4 to 5 times, and we're just like, wow, man, we got our little spruce back.
I'm just saying, if we having fun, let's have fun.
You know what I'm
what I
saying?
mean?
If we having fun, let's have fun.
And I think if couples found the fun in the relationship,
Mhm.
then perhaps, you know what I'm saying, it'd be more active in the bedroom or
Yeah.
in the intimate time. I don't want to just isolate that to the bedroom.
Right.
You know, I brought the whole house. Every room is mine.
Every room. I bought this whole house, so every room is mine.
Lord have mercy.
Huh? Spontaneous. That's another thing. Spontaneity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir.
Because I believe that that's one of the things that happen a lot when you're dating.
Man, what you talking about?
just-
If we honest,
Huh?
most men fall into the relationship in the dating phase because, you know, in that dating phase, it's like them restaurants. It's all you can drink. You know what I mean? Your cup is running low. Let me
Let me
fill.
fill you up.
Yeah, you
Yes,
know.
sir.
Yeah.
More tea, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's true. I believe it.
Yes, sir.
And that spontaneous type of intimacy, type of let's get a session on wherever we are. Let's do it right here.
Man,
And those are the fun times.
park the car.
Those are the fun times.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And those are the things that keep the spark going, if you ask me. Now, obviously, there are challenges that prohibit that.
Yeah.
That prohibit the 3 to 4 times per week. You know, so we're talking about like sometimes it's age. Sometimes age is the issue, you know. But I think more often than not, some of the other or the one of the main challenges is life.
Yeah. Man, it's so easy to lose that spark, bro.
Yeah.
That's
Life.
it's
You got kids. You got
Yeah.
kids.
bills.
You got work, bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I think it's harder as a man. I think it's harder for a female to let that stuff go and not really cloud their mind
Mm.
than it is for a man. What you think?
I don't know how to speak to that, bro, because I can't relate to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, now, you know, with my wife, I know when she's thinking.
Mhm.
I mean, I can almost, you know, I can almost hear
Uh-huh.
the wheels turning in her head. But you know, as a man, I can't relate to that because we see the problem
Uh-huh.
and we isolate our attention to the problem and to resolving the problem.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think humbly.
Uh-huh.
I don't think the female brain works that way. I think they. I don't. That's a hard one, bro.
Yeah.
What do you
What I'm
think?
saying, like, I've seen it before where it's like when a female, if there's something that she's worried about, a lot of times it takes them a while to get over that issue.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I've seen it where it's like, okay, if there are challenges with, let's just say bills. You know what I mean? You're just behind on bills, or their bills are just so much and it's taking a lot of the money. I think that's a part of the clutter that happens a lot of times in the mind or in the female, because
Yeah.
one I believe that females were designed to foster or birth what we put in them.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Naturally, a female gives birth to our seeds.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I believe a lot of times females also take on the challenges that we have too as a natural trait, like a natural thing that they
The nurturer.
this is what's
in
going
them.
on. They take it.
Yeah.
Huh?
Like they that's the nurturer.
Yeah, the
in
nurture.
them.
You know what I mean? And so, and don't get me wrong, I think it's good. It's a good and a bad thing. I think it's good, especially when they see things that we don't, especially as men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of times we don't see some of the things because we can be nonchalant.
Yes.
As a man, we can just be like,
I'll get to
"Oh,
it
it's
later.
straight." Huh?
Right.
You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
get to it later.
You know what I'm saying? And then there, uh, I believe a lot of times females can see some of the other things that we don't see. So
Right.
it's like, yeah, we say, "Oh, it's fine, maybe I'll get to it." They're looking at the end result.
And the
They're looking-
details.
Yeah, you're looking at the detailed
Yeah.
stuff. You're looking at the end result. They're looking at, yeah, but you say that, but you don't understand that if we don't do this, this may happen. If we
Right.
do this, this may happen. And so I believe that trait is a good trait when it comes to that as well.
Yeah. But then again, man, like it's been some instances where I've learned my wife, and I'm
Yeah.
still learning her. That it's a new revision
Absolutely.
weekly.
Yes.
So I
Absolutely.
think we on volume 11 right now. No, but when she's talking to me, I have to ask her, do you want me just to listen,
Mm.
or do you want me to problem solve with you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because there's been times where she has come to me to vent,
Yeah.
and she just wants me to listen. And me being who I am,
Yeah.
I'm hearing like, you could do this, you could do this, you
Yeah,
could do
right,
this.
absolutely.
No, I don't want that from you. I
Yeah,
just
you
want
already- yeah, you
I
already
just
heard
want you
the
to
solution.
listen.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Like, so sometimes you got to take that into account, that
Yeah.
when she's in her head, that she's just in her head.
She just in her head. Yeah.
Um,
And it's true. That happens a lot of times too. Because as men, we're already thinking about a solution to
oh man, we
the
know.
first three problems she done already said.
We already know.
You know what I mean? And like you said, sometimes they don't want that. They just want you to listen.
Mm-hmm.
I pick my wife up from work and I'm ready because I know I'm about to hear everything that went on at work
All from start to finish.
from start to finish.
Yes.
And I'm just listening. I'm not giving my input until the fat lady starts singing. Let me tell you what, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, or it's like, wow, it's just, wow, wow, that's
Mhm.
great. For real? Or if it's something bad, you're like, no way. I can't believe it. For real?
That's what support looks like.
You don't say.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's support. So those help too.
Sure.
Those do help. So
Sure.
so while we're talking about that, I think that's a great way, especially as men, it's a great way to help with decluttering too.
Sure.
So listening and seeing what it is, even if you know what the challenges are, even if you know what the problems are, listen.
Sure.
Be a great listener. Because just listening sometimes helps them feel more relaxed, more secure about what it is, even if they're venting in a way where they just feel like, I don't know what we're going to do about this.
See, that's something that we all, when I say all, I mean men,
Yeah.
that we can work with is the art of listening.
Yeah,
Because
the art of listening.
I know for me, a lot of times I be waiting for my turn to talk. She
Yeah.
talking, and I'm thinking about what I'm gonna say. Yeah,
Yep, it's true, man. There is greatness in listening,
sure.
because if you just listen, and I get it, as men, man, we want to, trust me, when they're sitting there and they're venting and they're talking, we're ready to just come out with the response. I know I'm good for it. Like, I already know I got an answer for everything that she's venting about.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's about me, whether it's about what's going on, the challenges are, I got an answer.
Yes.
But I know that as a man, I have to be careful about not always having an answer. And that's a challenge, and God's got to deal with me. He's still working on me.
And me too.
God's still working on me.
Me too, because I'm already zeroing in on what I got to do.
We're ready, man. We're ready to give you that. Okay, yeah, this and that. And now, granted, here's the other thing. I know we're off a rabbit trail. We're gonna get back, but granted, a lot of times, just because you have a response doesn't necessarily mean that you're arguing or want to go back and forth. But a lot of times, as a man, I know that we want to have our side heard too.
Sure, it's fair.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times in that situation, it's not that we're not listening, so much so that we are hearing what you're saying, but we also want to really defend ourselves too, because sometimes the venting can be about a perception that you may have of the man.
Sure.
And
it might not be right.
And so the man, I think it works on both sides too. So,
well,
listen to.
If we're talking about confrontation,
yeah,
confrontation is healthy, I believe.
Confrontation is definitely healthy because, I think it is too. I think, like you said, but it has to be healthy confrontation. It has to be, because the challenge with confrontation, and we'll probably talk about this because that's a whole nother ball of wax. But the challenge with confrontation is being careful not to confront each other when you're heated.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times when you're trying to talk to somebody in a heated conversation,
or it gets nasty and nobody's hearing anything. You're not going to hear it because at this point you're yelling back and forth, and so again, that's a whole other ball of wax, and we're gonna talk about that type of stuff. But it's important, bro, because that's where that spark we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Oftentimes the spark get lost because confrontation ain't handled correctly.
Yeah, right. That's true. Because as you're talking about it, it makes sense, because that can be one of the factors that hold up the sexual progress.
Absolutely.
There's issues that you haven't confronted. There's issues that we haven't addressed, and we just want to sweep those under the rug. I know as a man, we're just like, oh, come on, man. Come on. We'll deal with that later.
No.
But the challenge is that issue is still there after you lay down.
Hey, bro. In front of my house, we got this, we didn't plant it, but it's this rose bush.
Uh-huh.
And, you know how North Carolina weather is. Sometimes in April you'll have a very warm day.
Yeah.
And then it can be a cold day.
Mm-hmm.
And on them warm days, that we come outside and that flower is just budding. But when that next morning when it's cold, it closes up.
Uh-huh.
And that's how the sex life can be.
That's
good. When it's cold in the relationship, you can't expect
the joint to be open up.
The bud or the flower to open to you.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great analogy. It's true because there's there's so much going on, and as men, we want it whether it's hot or cold.
My goodness.
It's hot or cold, we ready to go. We ready to roll.
Well, in my older age, I have gotten like the church in the offering time.
What's that? Cheerful giver?
I want a cheerful giver.
Exactly.
I don't want it just
Man,
any old kind of way.
Man.
I
I'm the
want
same
it right.
way. I'm the same way. I don't want it. Well, here, take it.
Yeah, it's better
You
when
want
she.
here you go. No,
Yeah,
bro.
no.
That's too much work.
Yeah, I want it like Marvin Gaye.
Yes.
I want you to want me too.
Yes, that's it, man.
I want you to want me too,
You know
baby.
what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so I think that's important. Really being able to help declutter
Sure,
all of the things that are going on
sure.
so that it could be more
You got the
frequent.
right climate in your relationship.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it can be more frequent.
Yes.
So now, also in the study that the Knot did on intimacy, they also talked about how satisfied are the couples, and they gave them exactly like, and they gave them a scoring system between 1 to 5.
Okay.
So that's what they were ranked. So 15% of them gave a 1. Now these are all the couples. 9% of them gave a 2. 25% of them gave a 3. 22% of them gave a 5.
Nice.
Yeah. And then 6% of them there was no answer.
What
So-
that mean?
They ain't want to say. It's like that's either yes or no.
Oh,
I feel like
snap.
if you don't answer,
It's already a.
it's-
It ain't on the
that ain't
board.
good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get some people like, I'm private. Okay, some people just private about their sex life, but I don't know.
That goes back to that listening.
Just it, man.
You can't be a one way pleaser.
You can't be a one-way pleaser, and that goes by satisfied. You gotta make sure that your spouse is satisfied, especially the female. Especially the female, because, and based on my experience, it's a little more harder for the female to get to that end point than it is for a man. So
You got to be specific.
you gotta be specific. Now here's the thing, females, communicate with your man and tell him what it is that makes you click. Tell him, because here's the other thing, it shouldn't be a mystery.
No,
If you're married and y'all are having sex, it should not be a mystery.
no. Communicate.
Communicate. Let them know what makes you feel good, because that goes. That's an uncommunicated expectation.
Mm.
And what tends to happen is now you get up from that experience unsatisfied, and it's not fair to you, because I don't agree with every time you lay down, the man is the only person that is satisfied after y'all get up.
That ain't no fun.
No, man. You gotta make sure that she's satisfied. As a man, my thing is making sure she's satisfied first.
Mm-hmm.
I got this thing, and I told my sons this. When you get involved in a sexual relationship with a female, especially when you're married, make sure that she's satisfied first.
That's a cheat sheet.
It's a cheat code.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make sure that she's satisfied, because if she's satisfied first, so here's the thing: I don't feel embarrassed, or I'm not crashing out because I done finished 5 minutes early. You know what I'm saying? So, because here's the thing: you make sure she's satisfied, because if she's satisfied,
She ready to stop anyway.
listen, you can do what you want. You can do what you want. You can be done in 2 minutes if you want.
Yeah, sure.
You can be done in 2 minutes.
Yes,
So,
indeed.
make sure she's satisfied. Now, obviously, we have to know what it is that gets you to that point. So, females, tell us what it is. Tell the man what it is so that he's not working in vain. So that he's not sitting there trying to figure out what it is. Help him find the G spot. Help him find the G spot. Help him find the little man in the middle of the boat if he can't find it. So that.
Gotta pluck that bean. Why I say that?
You know what I mean? Because I think when you have those experiences, man, you know, I believe that both partners should be satisfied when y'all are finished.
Bruh. Yes.
Because then that'll help too with the how many times that y'all do it. Because, listen, if she's not satisfied when y'all lay down, every time y'all lay down, she ain't trying to go through that 3 to 4 times a week.
It's gonna become a chore.
It's gonna become a chore, and nobody wants that type of situation.
No.
So making sure that she's satisfied.
That ain't how you build longevity.
No, sir.
Yeah.
You got to make sure she's straight.
You can't be selfish.
No, you cannot be selfish.
And for them jokers out there that are, it's what Miss Seeley say. Everything you do, shame on you. Shame on you.
Stop it, fellas. Stop being that guy.
Be right to your lady.
You know what I mean? Stop being that guy that just every time you lay down, it's all about you. We can't do it, man.
Yeah, man. We don't need no lead singers.
We can't do it. It doesn't help on what we're trying to do. So going back, we talked about how many times per week, and we said about three to 4 times. But honestly, to be truthful, even with all that we talked about, it's really about the couple and what works for y'all too.
Facts.
Right? It's really about what y'all decide on, what y'all agree on. Because here's the other challenge in this type of situation is that we sometimes as couples, especially in the church realm, you know, we put a number on how many times per week based on what the pastors say or what somebody else says in general.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe it's a book we read and a book says it should be this amount or whatever. You have to be careful about that because what tends to happen is you now base your relationship around this theory or thought process of how many times it's supposed to happen. And when it doesn't happen, now you feel like, well, now we have a problem in our relationship.
Yeah.
Because you have now catered your relationship around this thought process or somebody else's thought process or somebody else's idea of how many times you should be doing it.
I think every couple should know the DNA of their relationship. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I think I think every couple should really set the basis for what it is they want out of the relationship at the beginning.
Yeah.
So that as they progress and as they work towards longevity, mm-hmm. This ain't what you saw your mom and your dad. You know what I mean? It's crazy, bro. I've known people who have been what the state refers to as common law marriage, where you know what I mean, they've been in a relationship 10, 15 years.
10 years.
Then they finally decide to get married. I don't know the number to when this becomes common law.
I thought it was I thought it was 7 to 10,
but you know, they've been boyfriend and girlfriend in it 10 plus years. Yeah. Then finally decide to get married, mm-hmm. And then it's like the relationship is within the 6 months
it's done.
They're done, and I think it's the titles.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Titles sometimes create unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because now you're operating under something that you gave meaning to.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Something that you gave meaning to. Now it's affecting
what we had and what we built.
Because your response is based on the meaning. And there's a saying that said nothing has meaning except for the meaning you give it.
Sure. Absolutely.
You know? And I know a lot of times we use that for when you feel like someone's disrespected you or someone has done something against you or towards you, that you just kind of let it roll off your back like water on a duck's back, because you know that shouldn't mean what they thought it meant.
Sure.
It's what you gave it.
Right.
But it also, I think it's also, it can pertain to relationships too, because now we're now giving it a title or a meaning when it comes to this specific thing in our relationship.
Right.
And when it doesn't happen this way, or because we gave it this title, there's an expectation. And if that expectation isn't met, now there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
All because we gave it a title or a meaning.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That it didn't have prior.
Exactly. And so I think that's, communication is key.
Absolutely.
Communication is key,
Absolutely.
man. Talking about all those things before you even get into marriage.
And checking in periodically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when you work a job every 6 months or so, you have a period of evaluation.
Right.
Where hey, this is your job title. How do you feel about what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think we do that enough as couples.
Yeah, we need to do a survey at the front of the door. How am I doing?
Yeah, but
I fill it out.
I check in with my wife. I try to check in with her on a regular basis.
That's good.
And I'm asking her, what do you need to feel love?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Are you happy? I don't want to take for granted that that who she is today. I'm covering all the areas. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the man she married.
Yeah.
20 plus years ago,
Right.
and she most certainly isn't the woman that she
ago.
was 20 years. That version of us don't exist.
Yeah, that's true.
And so as we are growing together and going forward, I think there has to be some kind of checking in on a regular basis.
Checking in, that's key. That's good. Checking in, man.
Yeah.
That's that communicative.
Where are we going?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
We're together, but what are we working towards?
Yeah, that's good.
What do you like now? I mean, there's foods that I loved in my 20s
Right.
that I don't even. I mean, don't put no peanut butter and jelly sandwich in front of me, bro.
But you used to love it.
I used to love them. Toasted. I could mix peanut butter and jelly in a bowl.
Oh man.
And dip have crackers, and you know what I'm saying? That was like a dip.
But now, don't even put it in front of you.
No.
Because you've changed since then.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And again, that's the communication piece that's important. Because even in your relationship, when it comes to the things that you see as romantic or intimate.
Right, that changes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so understanding what those things are, as a man, it would behoove us to really see what those things are and see if those things have changed. You know what I mean? Does she see this as romantic anymore? Like, at one point, and this, it may still be, it depends on the females, like bringing flowers to the job or giving them flowers consistently. There are females that don't really like flowers.
Right.
But there are females who didn't like flowers 5 years ago.
But love them now. Yes.
You know what I mean? And so that's the challenge, especially as men, because sometimes we can get so programmed and so just in the zone that we don't stop and do those pit stops.
Yeah.
And those check-ins and see, okay, has anything changed on this journey? Has anything changed?
Because the world around us is steadily changing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I ride down 15501. When I first moved here, it was hardly anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And now when you ride down there, it's like, wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff is steadily changing.
Right. And you can't operate as if nothing has changed.
Right.
So where there's a spot, there may be a spot where there was a Dunkin' Donuts, and then you roll into that spot, and it's a whole steakhouse right now. Can I get a donut? Like, bro, that
ain't on the menu.
We're not a Dunkin'.
Yeah.
That's not here anymore.
You 10 years too late.
stuff has changed, bro. And we got to
Facts.
change with it.
Facts.
It's the same thing with relationships. Things change, and we've got to change with it. See what it is. Make those pit stops, gentlemen. Make sure that we are checking in to see what it is that has changed, so that we can adapt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to help us in the long run, man.
Mm-hmm.
So tap in, fellas.